And whoever is going to be welcoming people, remember to tell them that we are recording. And if they don't want to be on the video, please turn their video off. Okay, and we are live.
Okay. Are we
I am, you want
welcome?
to bring people in? That is great.
All right, pushing the button.
Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. I cannot see you, so I cannot call out your names. But well, I can see Constance, I can see Danette, and I saw a Carrie. Oh, wait, hold on. I can scroll. There we go. I see an Anna and an Ari, and I'm Merritt and Patty. Hello, everybody. It's so lovely to see you. Welcome to Sorting Soup. And I'm going to tell you rather quickly that if you don't want your face on a live stream, that you need to turn off your video right now because we are live streaming to YouTube. So, now's the time to turn off your camera. But hi, everyone. Welcome, Gina and Jeannie, James, Carrie. While we let everyone just trickle in here. Oh, Amy, I'm glad you're here. Hi, Patrice, everybody. It's so good to see everybody. I hope everybody's had a good day. Deep breath. Kind of a long day. I know. Patty and Mark, and hi, Julie. It's nice to just see everybody. Oh, here we go. Still letting people just trickle on in here. Whew. Well, all right. Welcome in, and we'll just let people continue to get settled, but we are so happy to welcome you all once again, welcome you either here for the first time, maybe, or welcome you back to Sorting Soup and to our book club. It's absolutely great to see familiar faces and to see maybe one or two new ones. And I mean, just to gather here, it's it's wonderful. Makes me feel good, and I hope it makes you feel good as well. So this fall, our community continues to thrive thanks to all of you. And whether you're joining through NWSOFA's regular Zoom programs or jumping in from a wider circle of grassroots organizers in Illinois and beyond, Sorting Soup isn't just about reading together. It's about engaging with stories in a way that connects us as activists and thinkers and seekers. And I think we will find that today. But as we dig into today's discussion, let's keep our focus on the big themes shaping our lives and our chosen reads. Because today we picked we have picked um, difficult discussion, right? We picked Project 2025 Survival Guide, What You Must Know Before It's Too Late by Randy Allen Walker. It is the 119-page book based on the 900-page book. So we're going to start by reading the first two chapters of that book. But first, we need some introductions. So, where are we?
Okay.
Hi, I'm Cecilia, as I said. You're one of the co-facilitators here. Beth, Beth, unfortunately, I wanted to make sure that we introduced her. First of all, she is the reason that we're doing this book club, and unfortunately, she can't be with us today because of a family emergency. But I wanted to make certain that we ha that we had her picture up and we gave her her due, and that she knows that our thoughts are with her because we love her. All right, so Rebecca is also a co-facilitator from Wheaton, and we have Dr. Chris. And in this picture, she is with Boot Money at our picnic, and Boot Money can't be here because he's at a family gathering in California, but I'm hoping he'll be back in the swing of things soon. We have Adrian, I believe, with our vibe check monitor, and I'm hoping we have Merle around here too. But I know what one thing we have a strong crew here to help you in any way, shape, or form. If you have a question, you type it in the chat with the word question and your question right after it. Other than that, I would love it if you would type your name, where you are from, and if you are from an indivisible, 5051, a swing left, or any of the above. Thank you. And logistics.
Logistics. So, this is where I get to do my spiel. Um, so just first of all, if there are any newcomers, welcome. We love to see new faces getting involved, and it's really fun to have different voices. But just to give you a quick rundown of what sorting soup is, you signed up for it. So here you are. This is a group where usually we spend our time um, kind of processing through the events of the day because it's, an onslaught, and seeing if we can come up with some brainstorming action items. Um, Over the next couple today and over the next couple of weeks, we are shifting gears a little bit. Apologies if you can hear my dog barking in the background. But as I say, we're shifting gears a little bit to do this book club because um, number one, Beth suggested it, and anything Beth suggests, sign me up.
Mhm.
Um, and number two, I think the focus on Project 2025, um, the book was actually written before all of this, so it is some of it an interesting. Um, it's interesting for me to see how much of it has come true so far. Um, and then our action items will actually be, because a lot of that Project 2025 stuff is pretty heavy, um, our action items will be around self-care. So that's the plan for today. In terms of group norms, we will have a discussion section, and we're also looking for folks who can volunteer to read. In order to volunteer, you're going to raise your digital hand. That is in your Zoom menu. You're going to, yes, Patrice has her hand up already. In your Zoom menu, you find the heart-shaped button that says React. You click that, and then there's a raise hand option. So that's how you raise your hand. And when we are in the discussion session, please make sure that any comments are civil and constructive. And if any of this gets too heavy or you need to take a break, that's absolutely okay. Um, and make sure that we're all taking care of ourselves and come back when you're ready. So that is that. And I think Cecilia is going to take us through our agenda for the day.
Yes. Real quickly, before we get started, we have one more thing, because we forgot to this last week and I felt off the whole time. So we're going to really quickly do a Bardo breathing exercise. And if this is your first time here, the Bardo is the in-between. It's that section before you get to somewhere. You've already left, but you're not quite there, right? And that is where we find ourselves. We are in that in between. And so if you would please, if you can, just let's pause, settle into a comfortable stance, feet grounded and shoulders relaxed. Organizing can mean juggling. It can mean juggling stresses. So this minute is dedicated to a transition of renewal. So we're going to start by breathing in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Feel your belly expanding. Hold that breath. Catch the quiet moment in between for 4 counts. Now exhale through your mouth for a count of 4, releasing tension through with the breathe out. Repeat this mindful cycle. Inhale 4, hold, exhale 4, and then hold for empty for 4 counts. And as you move through those spaces, the bardos between breaths, reflect briefly on your intention for this moment, the clarity, connection, or resilience. Let each transition remind you, even between actions, that there is power to reset. After a minute, open your eyes, feeling both present and ready to return to the work. Restored and focused. Okay. So, we are at chapter 1. And if I believe we have put in we put a PDF in the chat. So if you do not have the book, if you've not been able to get it, you can follow along. I believe there's like a condensed part right in the beginning, but you can, Rebecca, you're going to have to help me there.
So I included the full text. The full text, if we read at the average speed, should allow us to finish it in about 35 minutes.
Sweet.
So we'll just take turns, and that'll be the plan. So anybody who's interested in reading, please go ahead and raise your hand. You can find the PDF in the chat.
That's great. All right, Miss Patrice. We are chapter 1, the blueprint for authoritarianism. Who wrote it and why?
And that's on page 14. And Cecilia, how far do you want me to read until the next person?
Well,
I can just read the first page and go from there.
you can actually, you can read the first chapter.
Okay.
You're gonna make it to a map.
Okay, yes, I am. Okay, here we go. Chapter 1. And please, folks, let me know if you can hear me well. The Blueprint for Authoritarianism. Who wrote it and why it matters. Understanding Project 2025 requires more than just an analysis of its policies. It demands an examination of its authors, who wrote it, under what assumptions, and toward what vision. These are not peripheral questions. They are central. The ideology behind a political blueprint reveals its intent, and the individuals and institutions responsible for its creation shape both its ambitions and its operational reality. The intellectual engine of Project 2025 is the Heritage Foundation, one of the most influential conservative think tanks in American history. Founded in 1973, the Heritage Foundation has long positioned itself as a bridge between academic conservatism and applied policymaking. Its stated mission is to formulate and promote conservative public policies based on principles of free enterprise, limited government, individual freedom, and traditional American values, and a strong national defense. While these principles may appear benign in abstraction, their application, particularly in the context of Project 2025, has taken on a far more aggressive and sweeping form. Over the decades, Heritage has evolved from a mere policy shop into a political force. It has groomed lawmakers, trained legal clerks, seeded its alumni into federal agencies, and established a direct pipeline to conservative administrations. During the Reagan era, its original mandate for leadership served as a de facto transition document. More than 60% of its proposals were implemented by the Reagan White House. That legacy is being revived and intensified with Project 2025. The principal document guiding this initiative, Mandate for Leadership, the Conservative Promise, is not a product of a single author, but rather a collaborative effort involving more than 400 contributors. These include former high-ranking officials from previous Republican administrations, legal theorists affiliated with the Federalist Society, culture war strategists, economists aligned with libertarian and market fundamentalist schools of thought, and Christian nationalist activists. This vast coalition was not accidental. It reflects a comprehensive and interlocking agenda aimed at reshaping the executive branch, civil society, and national identity all at once. Some of the key names include Kevin Roberts, current president of the Heritage Foundation, who has described the project as a way to reclaim the country from the administrative state and to refound America. Paul Dans, former chief of staff at the Office of Personnel Management, who heads the Presidential Transition Project under Project 2025 and has openly discussed the need to fire tens of thousands of career bureaucrats. Russ Vogt, former director of the Office of Management and Budget under President Trump, who has publicly advocated for a strong executive unconstrained by traditional institutional checks. These individuals and the institutions they represent are not fringe actors. They operate at the highest levels of American policy and legal infrastructure. Their backgrounds reflect not only proximity to power, but also an ideological consistency, a shared belief that the administrative state, the complex system of nonpartisan civil servants, regulatory agencies, and interagency cooperation is illegitimate unless it conforms to a narrow, often theocratic definition of American values. What makes this authorship particularly significant is not just the credentials of the contributors, but the coherence of their vision. This is not a random assortment of conservative reforms. It is a systemized attempt to build a parallel governing philosophy, one that challenges the very assumptions of liberal democracy. In this view, the federal government is not a neutral arbiter of competing interests, but a corrupted institution captured by secularism, globalism, and cultural decadence. Project 2025 seeks to correct that perceived imbalance through deliberate intervention in every domain: legal, educational, environmental, and social. Another important dimension is the project's network of affiliate organizations. These include the Center for Renewing America, the Claremont Institute, the American Cornerstone Institute, and dozens of others. These groups provide the intellectual scaffolding for Project 2025, contributing not only to the drafting of policy, but also to the construction of media narratives, legal justifications, and political organizing. Their role is to shape the terrain before the project is even enacted, to normalize its assumptions and build public tolerance for its radical implications. The legal backbone of Project 2025 comes in part from members of the Federalist Society, a powerful legal movement that has profoundly influenced the American judiciary over the past 4 decades. Many of the judicial nominations under Republican administrations have been drawn from its ranks, and the Society has played a key role in crafting arguments that expand executive power while reducing the autonomy of federal agencies. That legal philosophy is embedded in Project 2025, which uses the language of constitutionality to justify actions that, in effect, destabilize the very fabric of constitutional governance. Why does this authorship matter? Because who writes the rules defines how the game is played. The individuals and institutions behind Project 2025 are not just writing policies, they are scripting a new political reality. Their collective effort represents a break from traditional conservatism, which at various times emphasized prudence, institutional respect, and cautious governance. What we see here is not caution, but acceleration, not incremental reform, but structural overhaul. The danger lies in the credibility and resources of the authors. These are not marginal voices. They have direct access to political candidates, significant donor backing, media platforms, and a well-established apparatus of think tanks, law firms, and advocacy networks. If a future administration aligned with Project 2025 takes power, the infrastructure for implementation is already in place. The authors of this project are not just theorists, they are practitioners with a plan.
Okay, just a moment.
Thank you.
I would like to hold up just a are you at in sum?
Yes,
Awesome.
page 16.
Awesome. Okay. Can we, Judith, did you raise your hand to ask a question or to read next?
I can read next. Are we still, let's see, remind me where we are now?
We are at in sum, the authorship of Project 2025.
Okay.
We're at the
Yes.
top
Okay.
of page
Okay.
16.
Okay, great. I see that. Good. In sum, the authorship of Project 2025 is crucial, not simply for understanding what the project proposes, but for comprehending how it will unfold. Their identities, histories, and institutional affiliations tell us that this is no spontaneous effort. It is a culmination. It is the execution of a long-term vision, meticulously prepared and ready to be operationalized. What is being written is not just a policy agenda, it is a constitutional reimagining. And understanding who is holding the pen is the first step in understanding the story they're trying to write for America and for the world. Okay, the role of the Heritage Foundation. To fully understand Project 2025, one must begin by examining the institutional nucleus from which it emerged, the Heritage Foundation. Often described as the ideological command center of the American conservative movement, the Heritage Foundation is more than a think tank. It is a political enterprise, a factory for policy, personnel, and power. Founded in 1973 during the rise of the New Right, Heritage was conceived as an answer to what its founders saw as the liberal capture of American academia and public administration. From its inception, the foundation positioned itself not as a neutral research institution, but as a strategic engine designed to generate actionable policy proposals for Republican lawmakers. Its mission has always been clear: to shift the Overton window of American governance to the right, and to embed those shifts within the architecture of federal institutions. Heritage gained prominence. That's funny. I can't, let's see. I have only one line remaining on my page here. I'm not sure what's going on. Heritage here. Okay, I'm fine now. Heritage gained national prominence during the Reagan administration, particularly through its publication of the first Mandate for Leadership in 1981. That document, much like its modern counterpart in Project 2025, offered a comprehensive plan for the new administration to transform the federal government. Reagan took that plan seriously. Over 60% of the policy recommendations were implemented in some form. This moment was formative not only for Heritage, but for conservative politics more broadly. It demonstrated that with sufficient planning, resources, and ideological clarity, a private organization could substantially shape the direction of the federal government. Over the decades that followed, Heritage refined its model. It recruited scholars, trained young professionals, built extensive donor networks, and established satellite organizations. It became a central hub through which conservative ideas were incubated and converted into administrative practice. But it also began to evolve, moving beyond Reagan-era conservatism, rooted in fiscal discipline and Cold War politics, toward a more radical, populist-inflected nationalism. This evolution accelerated dramatically during and after the Trump administration. Under the leadership of Kevin Roberts, Heritage embraced a more confrontational and revolutionary tone, one that views the federal government not simply as inefficient, but as illegitimate in its current form. I'm having trouble advancing again. There we go. Okay. This philosophical shift is essential to understanding the Foundation's role in Project 2025. The initiative is not a call for reform. It is a declaration of ideological war on the very premise of liberal governance. Heritage has provided not just the infrastructure for Project 2025, but its intellectual rationale. The project argues that the administrative state, comprising career civil servants, independent regulatory bodies, and longstanding legal norms, has become a fourth branch of government, unaccountable to the people and hostile to conservative values. In response, Heritage proposes dismantling the state by stripping agencies of autonomy, eliminating employment protections for federal workers, and consolidating power within the executive branch. To execute this vision, Heritage has mobilized its extensive resources. It has recruited over 400 contributors to Mandate for Leadership, the conservative promise, each focused on a specific agency or issue area. These contributors come from a vast array of aligned institutions, including the Claremont Institute, the Federalist Society, the American Cornerstone Institute, and others. In effect, Heritage has positioned itself as a government in waiting. Equally important is the Foundation's ability to shape public discourse. Heritage operates a sophisticated media strategy that includes its own news outlets, podcast networks, and frequent appearances on mainstream conservative platforms. Through this apparatus, it promotes Project 2025 not as a radical reimagining of American government, but as a return to constitutional principles, national sovereignty, and the will of the people. This rhetorical framing is powerful because it cloaks authoritarian restructuring in the language of patriotism and reform. Critically, the Foundation has also played a key role in personnel development. Project 2025 includes a database known as the Presidential Personnel Database, which is essentially a curated list of pre-vetted loyalists who could fill thousands of federal positions immediately after a conservative electoral victory. This is not merely theoretical. It is a logistical mechanism designed to bypass traditional vetting processes and rapidly deploy ideological actors across the government. The aim is to neutralize bureaucratic resistance and ensure uniform loyalty to the incoming administration's agenda. Furthermore, Heritage's legal arm has proposed reinterpretations of the Constitution that would significantly expand executive authority. These include arguments supporting the unitary executive theory, the idea that all executive branch employees must be directly accountable to the president, and that the president possesses near absolute authority over them. This theory, though contested in the courts and academia, underpins much of Project 2025's approach to agency restructuring and civil service reform. By positioning itself as both the intellectual and logistical center of Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation has assumed a role that surpasses traditional policy influence. It is not merely advising future administrations, it is preparing to govern. The foundation has effectively built a shadow government, complete with plans, personnel, ideology, and infrastructure, ready to be installed when the political conditions are right. The consequences of this cannot be overstated. Heritage's dominance in the development and execution of Project 2025 means that any administration aligned with the project will inherit not only a political agenda, but a governing machine. That machine is calibrated not for deliberation, compromise, or constitutional balance, but for swift, centralized, ideologically pure execution of a comprehensive political program. In the context of American democratic history, this represents a significant break. Think tanks have long shaped policy, but rarely have they sought to replace the mechanisms of governance themselves. Heritage, through Project 2025, is not just influencing the government, it is preparing to become the government. The distinction between civil society and state power is blurred, and the risks to democratic resilience are profound. Okay. This is why the Heritage Foundation's role matters. It is not a background actor. It is the architect, the engineer, and the promoter of a vision that seeks not just to win elections, but to redefine the American state. Recognizing this centrality is key to understanding both the structure and the seriousness of the threats described in this guide. Shall I go on?
Oh, no, hold on for just a moment. Thank you
Okay.
so much. I needed to I was hoping for a time to pause there for just a moment. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. That was a lot. And Sabrina, you are next to read, and we have 2 pages left in this chapter. And then are you reading off of the page?
I have the book.
Okay. So we would like to add, well, okay, never mind.
I just like to see all
Okay.
the faces.
Okay, there we go. Go ahead.
Thanks. Anyway, Timeline to Power 2025 and beyond. Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Project 2025 is not a speculative exercise. It is a schedule, a timeline, a plan of action calibrated to begin on the precise date, January 20th, 2025, the next presidential inauguration. Unlike traditional political agendas, which unfold over months or years through legislative processes, Project 2025 is designed to be activated immediately with a detailed transition strategy already drafted and waiting. At the heart of this timeline is the presidential transition project, an operational framework within Project 2025 that outlines step by step how to seize control of the executive branch and reshape federal government within the first 180 days of a new administration. This is not a rhetorical claim. It is stated plainly in the materials. Their aim is to dismantle the administrative state beginning on day 1. The project is built around the assumption that a conservative president aligned with the Heritage Foundation's ideological framework will win the 2024 election. In preparation, a detailed timeline has been established, beginning with candidate vetting and extending through the systematic overhaul of the federal bureaucracy. The process is divided into 3 main phases. Keep going.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Phase 1, pre-election preparation, 2023 to 2024. The phase focuses on groundwork. The phase focuses on groundwork. The architects of Project 2025 are identifying loyalists, assembling the presidential personnel database, drafting policy directives, and coordinating with affiliated legal, religious, and economic organizations. The goal is to have a ready-made government apparatus, ideologically vetted and logistically organized, long before a single vote is cast. The phase also involves public messaging, reframing the deep state as an enemy of the people, fostering distrust in legacy institutions, and normalizing the idea that only a radical purge can restore true democratic governance. This ideological groundwork is essential. It prepares the electorate for what is to come by redefining institutional legitimacy itself. Phase 2, election to inauguration, November 2024 to January 20, 2025. This is the most crucial 75-day window. Traditionally, presidential transitions are slow, careful, and respectful of continuity. Project 2025 calls for the opposite. The moment an election is won, the transition must move into high gear. The personnel listed are activated. Pre-drafted executive orders are finalized. Legal memos are queued. Key agencies are targeted for immediate takeover. The project calls for day one orders that restructure entire departments, eliminating their current leadership, revising their mandates, and consolidating power directly under the president. This includes the Department of Justice, the Department of Education, the Environmental Protection Agency, and others. During this phase, the project also plans for potential resistance. Civil service protections are viewed as obstacles. Project 2025 provides legal strategies for firing career bureaucrats en masse, circumventing traditional hiring practices, and replacing institutional memory with ideological loyalty. Phase 3, the first 180 days of power, January through June 2025. This is the implementation phase. The vision moves from planning to action. Executive orders are signed, agency heads are replaced, budgets are slashed, regulations are repealed, investigations are launched into perceived political enemies, both internal, career officials and civil servants, and external, media outlets and advocacy groups. The first 6 months are viewed not as a testing ground, but as a window of opportunity. The architects of Project 2025 are aware that political capital fades quickly. The strategy is therefore designed for speed over consensus, execution over deliberation. The foundational changes are meant to be irreversible by the time opposition forces can respond. Sorry about the dogs. The project borrows from the concept of shock governance. The idea that when transitions occur swiftly and comprehensively, opposition is disoriented and weakened. By flooding the system with changes, legal maneuvers, and personnel shifts, Project 2025 seeks to establish a new normal before any meaningful resistance can be organized. Beyond the first 180 days, the timeline remains aggressive. In the second half of 2025 and into 2026, Project 2025 outlines further steps: judicial nominations, legislative proposals, public education reforms, and ongoing regulatory role. While the initial phase focuses on the executive branch, the long-term strategy encompasses the entire federal structure, Congress, the courts, and civil society. The project is also designed to self-sustain. Once key positions are filled with loyalists and institutional safeguards are removed, the new order becomes harder to reverse. Project 2025 anticipates potential challenges in the 2026 midterms or legal pushback, but its architects assume that by then the groundwork will be entrenched. At that point, opposition becomes not just politically difficult, but structurally unlikely. The reshaped government will operate under new assumptions about citizenship, law, and federal authority that make dissent less effective and reform more distant. This is why the timeline matters so deeply. It turns ideological into mechanics. It translates philosophy into deadlines. It reveals a moment of movement, not merely content with winning elections, but determined to redefine what elections mean and what governing looks like afterward. Project 2025 is, in essence, a countdown. Every phase is calculated, every document has a date, every decision is a step toward a reality in which power is centralized, opposition is neutered, and the democratic process is hollowed out from within. The timeline is not a suggestion. It is an operational directive, and it is already in motion. You good?
Thank you very much. And then we find the concept map for the blueprint for authoritarianism. And there is the Heritage Foundation strategic plan for U.S. governance. And there, that, which,
Yeah, so I think that it's kind of a summary of chapter 1. So kind of breaks down the timelines into pre-election, what happens on, day 1, the first 100 days, and the next 4 years. We talked about the unitary executive theory. Basically, that's like all-powerful president. Executive orders. Like a lot of this should probably sound familiar because you're all living through it.
yeah,
And the end goal is we're never going to be the same, basically.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Quick question, quick poll of the audience. Would we like to have some discussion time now from for chapter 1? Or would you like to read through chapter 2 and just discuss it all at the end?
Discuss now.
Okay, we're discussing now, Bruce. But you're not first.
I
Sorry.
understand.
Okay, Constance, you're first. Go for it. Oh, but you can unmute yourself.
So sorry.
That's fine.
The reason I wanted to discuss it now is because in the paragraph that is toward the end that begins with beyond the first 180 days, the timeline remains aggressive. In the second half of 2025, which is where we are now, and into 2026, Project 2025 outlines further steps: judicial nominations, legislative proposals, public education reforms, and ongoing regulatory rollback.
Yeah,
I don't see much of this happening, and I'm thinking it's because Trump is so fixed on making foreign trips and redecorating the White House and getting revenge on his political enemies that he is kind of asleep at the wheel a little bit in terms of some of these other things that Project 2025 assumed he might do. And I'd like other people to kind of weigh in to see if I'm the only one who is kind of seeing things that way.
Yeah,
I don't see any public education reforms. I don't see any ongoing, Consumer Protection Agency is an ongoing regulatory rollback.
Well, they tried to dismantle the Department of Education.
Yeah.
Linda
Yeah,
McMahon
and
is
DEI is
she's
gone.
really they've taken apart public education.
I know that, but
Do you
with that, they were supposed to do public education reforms. So
Okay.
that means, recalibrating the entire public school system, in my view. So I'm not seeing, they dismantled the the Department of Education, but that's it. I don't see them doing anything with it.
The big question to me, it seems, is was Trump a part of Project 2025, or is he just a figurehead that they're using as a shadow to do their business with him just getting all the flack? He's the distraction while they do the work.
He's the implementer.
Okay.
You think
well,
so?
And I will
Hold on.
say,
I'm sorry.
Just as a reminder around group norms, we raise our hand in order to get in line to offer our comments. So Cecilia will call on us in order. Thank you.
Sorry about that. All right. Constance, thank you. And Bruce, you're up next.
Okay, I don't know how much more I can listen to this. To me, it's a coup. Loyalty to the administration. I didn't hear anything about the Constitution. And all of it is executive, executive, executive. And we've actually talked about this in coffee and conversation regarding the independent agencies. You know, they're planning to eliminate them basically and put them all under the authority of the executive. And that seems to be what the Supreme Court's doing, although it's only been on the shadow docket so far, except for the Federal Reserve. But the FTC, the NLRB, the Merit System Protection Board, they're probably all going to go under the executive instead of being independent regulatory commissions. I thought it was interesting. They said to correct corruption. They've created corruption the way we're going. They also said individual freedom is important. My God, the freedoms they've infringed upon. It's just, reproductive freedom, for instance, and so many others, and what they've been doing with due process. And I don't know. It's just there was so much in there that was very, very disturbing to me. That and they want to dismantle the administrative state. I'm telling you, it sounds like a coup to me, being done without military force, but by ideology. And yes, Trump is following some of it, but not all of it. He's the implementer of it, and it's really problematic to hear this.
I agree. And the self-sustaining part, I mean, that it's all created to just build on itself. And that's the other part that just doesn't make me feel good inside. That's for sure.
And also the Christian nationalism, which was at the beginning. You know, what happened to freedom of religion in this country? Come on.
That's a very good question.
Sorry, I carried on.
Bruce, you don't have to apologize for that. This is the place for that, remember? All right, Doug. Go on. Oh, here, did I?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
So the Project 2025 and the Heritage Foundation, it starts to talk about Paul Dans, Cuccinelli, Kevin Roberts. These are just hired hands. These are the brains for rent. And what we need to become more aware of, who is paying for this? And Charles Koch has been a leading member of the Heritage Foundation since it began. This is a libertarian oligarch takeover. And I'm going to put in the chat right now a link to an excerpt from Jane Mayer's book, Dark Money. It used to be available on the internet as a complete PDF. All I could find was an introduction, but you can find it at your library. And she really has gone into deep dive into exploring who these people are, how they're paying for this, who's behind it all. And they put the Heritage Foundation up front so they can keep their identities out of the public view.
Yeah.
They have another group called Donors Trust. So that helps them become anonymous as well. But here's the link I'll put in for you. And I encourage you to download that, take a look at it, and start to come to grips that this is an oligarch libertarian takeover. It is a coup, as Bruce says. It's all about money. They're going to use religion. They're going to use racism. They're going to use sexuality. Every, hot button issue you can think of to gain votes, because it all comes back eventually to power, money, control. And the essential ideology of libertarians is we want the right to do what we want to you.
Right. But
We're
for me,
we're
not
not
for
going to
thee.
pay you anything. We want to control you. And so this is what we're up against.
But I appreciate that. And all right, but I got a lot of hands up, Doug, and we've only
Yep,
made it through the
thank you.
first
Thank you.
chapter. So
Yep, it's there.
hoo-wee. All right, Sabrina, you're up next.
Hey, so in response to Constance, I have a lot of friends in the federal workforce, just colleagues and stuff. And I will say there are things going on that people don't know about. For example, I have a friend who was like a GS 15, 14, something like that. And she used to train diplomats and it was at the Center for Leadership. They took that whole thing down and they used to do a lot of training for high level leadership positions. They did evaluations for them and stuff, taught them, things like everything from how to handle like racial situations to how just a lot of different things. So they completely gutted that. They were all fired. I know her daughter was fired from the Library of Congress. So they and then also the Office of Special Education in the Department of Education, they are doing their best to completely eliminate the employees. And the thing is, by eliminating the employees, they are dismantling it, because I read a couple of managers, supervisors, whatever, comments about the Office of Special Education when they were eliminating some people. They did get reinstated, some of them, I think, but still, they're like, we're not going to have enough people to do the work of disseminating the millions of dollars that need to be disseminated for special education, to enforce and evaluate and enforce the rules around special education with IDEA. So they're doing it. They're not just totally crumbling at one time. They're just making it to where they basically can't function.
Right.
A second thing I want to mention is, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the book, The Banality of Evil. I forgot the name. Oh God, it's right there. I can't think of it. Anyway, this woman wrote this book about how the Nazis were able to do this horrific stuff because people were just doing their everyday job. They were ordering trains. That's something they always did.
Yes.
Were they putting Jewish people in it and sending them off to concentration camps? Yeah, they were. But they were just doing their job.
Yeah, just doing my
And
job.
I think that's happening a lot. Yeah, I think that's happening a lot right now. One thing I do have to say about their plan that I think I question, I've been watching a lot of videos on the Holocaust and World War II and stuff. The thing with Hitler was he couldn't just outright be a bad guy. He had to give the German people something good. And was he great at it? No, but he did it well enough, like with jobs and vacations. They, offering them this future of having a car when most of them didn't have bikes.
Yeah.
They were eating well, all these things. So like there are things that he put in place that helped the German people a little bit, just enough, to keep them following. So I wonder, because it feels like not the Democrats, sorry kids, the Republicans have done that as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, where's the good though? Like they're doing the bad. Where's the good? Where are you giving to us? So I always wonder if that's going to undermine their plan. And that's it. Thanks.
That's all right. Thank you. Okay, Judith. Oop, there it comes. Oh, did I just mute you? Or there you go.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. Yes, I wanted basically to agree with Bruce, as so many other people have done. How can they even call this a democracy, what they're putting forth in 2025? It's just not. I mean, they're undermining the Constitution at every turn. This is some idea that they have, of a Christian nationalist nation with a unitary executive. It's not democracy in any shape or form. And I mean, it's not even as good as, say, ancient Greek democracy or something. It's just not democracy. And so I'm furious about that. And when I was doing that little bit of reading, I was just so angry reading it. It was hard to keep reading. You know what I mean? And I also wanted to apologize. I saw some comment in the chat that there was an echo or that somebody was going too fast. I don't know if that was me or what, but I wanted to apologize for that because I wasn't looking at the chat when I was reading. I was trying to, keep my eyes on the text. Anyway, it was infuriating just to read this whole thing. And then at some point, Cecilia, if you could clarify what this document is. I wasn't in on the preliminary preparation for this session, so I don't know precisely what it is. Obviously, it was put together before the 2024 election, but anyway, that. And then a couple other comments. Someone mentioned that they didn't see much evidence in education, and oh my God, as a former professor myself, I'm just horrified at what they're doing to universities, especially in Florida, but elsewhere as well, and having universities buy into the, at peril of losing their federal funding, buy into the agenda of the Trump administration. And only a couple have capitulated, like Columbia, but I mean, some are really on the borderline. I'm glad to see that some are taking the stand, but there's that. And then they also want to rewrite textbooks eventually in the grade schools and not say anything negative about America. Like America's never done anything wrong, and that's a really bad way to go.
Heaven forbid we should know
know.
that we ever did a thing wrong.
I know. And I mean, that's really awful. The Germans have come forth and acknowledged that what they did in World War II was really bad. It took Japan a lot longer to do it, but they eventually did. But I mean, we have to acknowledge this. This is not good to just pretend that everything is great with America, Exactly. And then just one last little thing. I wanted to compliment Alfeo on the sign that he's displaying. Empathy cultivates compassion, which creates kind action. I myself am trying these days to be extra kind whenever I can, even chatting with people in the checkout line or something, and hoping that some of the kindness will come back in my direction and that this will provide some sort of a web that will support us all through these dark days. Anyway, so there's that. But Cecilia, if you could clarify for me what the document is, I would appreciate that.
This is okay. So this survival guide, I believe he wrote this based on the 900-page book. So there's a book written about Project 2025, and it's aptly named Project 2025. I think it's probably the Project 2025 survival guide.
Okay.
Knowing my luck, it's probably exactly the same name. And because and I honestly think Randy Allen Walker is a pseudonym because we have tried to look him up like left, right, and sundry. We can't find a thing on him.
Oh, so, how interesting.
So I'm thinking that it's a pseudonym. But this is just from everything that I can find, it's all facts. Like it's just a pulling together of the facts and they put it in a book.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nora, you are up. Did I get you?
Oops, I unmuted now. Okay, I just want to say a few things. People had indicated that Trump hasn't followed everything, which is true, but he and another person said that how did people vote for Trump, when they knew this was coming? Well, they didn't know this was coming. He promised the world to everybody. And he didn't have to play Hitler and make promises. He promised everything.
Yeah, he
under
did.
the sun to people. So, but what we're looking at is building an authoritative government. And even though he might not exactly be doing everything that's in Project 2025, if you look at how other authoritative governments have gained control, they are doing what he's doing. Like, he wants to dumb down the people, the inequity of wealth, um, doing away with education, and so much more. So he's
Yeah.
following the playbook of the authoritative government leaders that he loves. And we know he just absolutely loves them all.
Mm.
But he wants power more than anything for himself. And he got in based on his charisma, but I think because of his narcissistic personality, he has gone outside of the lines and done things totally unpredictable by the Heritage Foundation. They don't talk about war with other countries, and he's eager to do that. They don't talk about.
Well, they haven't talked about it in chapter 1.
Oh, well, that's true. I haven't read the whole thing, so I'm getting ahead of myself. But I had put in chat right away, and maybe Bruce would know better than most people. I was wondering. Now we know some of the Supreme Court is obviously connected to the Heritage Foundations, but which ones do we know for sure had a connection to them?
We will have to look that up and find out.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Miss Sharon.
Hi,
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing okay. Before he became president, I was in a group and we kind of dissected Project 2025. And
Mm.
under education, it was the elimination of Department of Education, public funds to pay for private education, in other words, the religious schools or the charter schools, and they taking money from the public schools to pay for that and giving the parents tax write-off and stuff. Special education, and that's when RFK Jr. was talking about the autism registry.
Mhm.
So that's that. Ban African American studies and gender studies.
Mhm.
Eliminating of Head Start and free reduced breakfasts and lunches. I think somewhere he restored Head Start, I'm not sure. Um, Banning books about slavery and curriculum. Defunding the Library of Congress. And just recently, Trump's budget would reduce Pell Grant awards and work study programs. So in essence, if you don't have money to go to college past an AA degree, that's it.
Yeah. And
So with that said, wait a minute. Oh, and then I got the resources. I think that we need to brainstorm each chapter, if not
Mhm.
right after, because we need to address it and have a plan of action. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, y'all, I don't think we're going to make it to the way things are going. We're not going to make it to self-care at all. I mean, that's okay. I don't mind.
Okay,
I
but
just need to plan better. Like if the way that I didn't realize that
it was so much.
well that we would have so much to talk about, to be honest. Because we lived it. So
Right.
I thought that we wouldn't have so much to talk about because we'd
Well,
already gone through it.
I just listed everything and just about everything he started already. But I
Yeah.
think that maybe we brainstorm and do some self-care. You may have to just do one chapter or or
Yeah.
I don't know, have people, I don't have the book, so I'm following you guys.
No
But
worries.
maybe do one chapter and brainstorm
Yep.
because they throwing this stuff out so fast. So we need to, I don't know how the book is written, if it's, the
It's
first
got,
part, and then what is the survival part of this? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because we got to start working. We can't sit back and
I know.
and
I
and
know.
and just wait.
The survival part is just education. I mean, it just gives you a lot of education and it tells you to keep working and it tells you to keep going and it tells you to network and to do what we're doing. I mean, because basically we are this is the most important part of this survival guide is what we're doing. The networking,
Okay.
the reading, the education, the sharing of the the disseminating of the information. So yeah, that's the most important part.
Um, is this, I sent you an email. Is this where
Yeah.
you want to address it now?
I can't, yes,
Okay, don't worry about it then. Don't worry about it.
but
Okay.
actually
Okay.
no, I can. Miss Sharon we are going to do that. That is the what dates are those again? That's the 17th through the
19th is the blackout. And
17th through the 19th is blackout
no,
and
I don't have that in front of me.
oh,
Um, oh gosh.
no, I do. Um I apologize, Miss Sharon.
That's okay.
Uh
That's okay. You stay on track with what you're doing. We'll talk later and be better prepared. I could put the
well,
information what I sent. I wanted you to, oh, is it okay?
oh yeah, it's fine. It
Okay,
looks
I'll
great.
put it in the chat.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it looks
Okay,
beautiful.
thank you. That's
Looks
all. We just got to keep working, like you said, but come up
yeah.
with new strategies as well.
Yes, I
Okay, I'm
agree.
done.
And Amy, yeah, she's talking about that one too. She's there were yes. Okie doke. Patrice.
Hi, I'll talk fast so everybody else can get a chance.
Yeah.
So Nora was asking about the possible Supreme Court connection to 2025. As we know, Clarence Thomas, cozy with the Koch brothers. Well, now there's
Yeah.
just one left. And I think we can all be sure Koch is involved in 2025, who, by the way, was asked he was asked, why do you want to steal such little bits of these native people's oil? And his answer was, because I want it and I want it all. That just so freaked me out. And I'm like, okay, well, that's what these guys are doing. Um, Per Sabrina's comments, look at Orban's Hungary. If any of us went to Hungary today, it would kind of look normal, but it ain't normal. And I'm wondering what you guys think. What you think that these guys think of us now. Do they feel no kings was anything? Do they feel the last, Tuesday's election results? Do they feel that are there any cracks in their thing? Any light shining through? So those are my
Uh,
comments. Thank you.
yes, there's light shining through. I don't believe they were expecting as much of a response as they got. Personally,
And
that's
if
my
they and if they and if they don't take us seriously, good.
yes.
Let us sneak up on them.
I would like to be a ninja. I would rather be a ninja and sneak up. Theo.
Hi. Um, all good. I relate to Sharon's comment that we have to be looking at action and how to fight against these guys because a lot of the stuff we've known about this, not maybe in as much detail here, but what we have to learn from this is that we have to have our long-term goals and our long-term game that has to start yesterday. And
Right.
we have to be paying attention to all this. And we are currently finding ways to beat it and fight against it. And that's what we have to be focusing on more. And obviously, you heard that I have lots of ideas on that I want to get back to, because this stuff is mind-boggling. But it's good. But we're aware of a lot of this as this group, so we're teaching some people here, and that's good. But the main thing is action, and not again. Oh, this group is amazing for action, is amazing for getting things done and doing things. But we're a little bit of talking about what we know in more
Yeah.
detail. And I'm sorry if that makes sense or not. And I'll just leave it at that for now.
Sometimes we talk too much and
Mhm.
we need to do more. I understand
Yeah.
what you're saying.
Yeah, but I'm not good at this. I mean, I have all these ideas and I have a hard time writing them down or implementing. And some of you are great at this stuff and getting it done and focusing on it. And all I'm sitting here is I'm throwing out all these ideas and I'm having trouble writing them down and just to even share. But it's still, we got to be looking to the future in the long game. We got to what we can learn from this is how strategic they were, and we see that the plan's not going the way they want it because we are pushing back so hard in the courts, because we are understanding it, and there are a lot of sheeple in there that are bought into it, which we were referring to, and that's further down, all these technical people working on this, all the people in the Turning Point USA. Boy, will you hear what these guys are doing? And they've all, so many people have drank the Kool-Aid, and
Yes.
and that dark money is so important because that's who's controlling this. And I got to look at that book a little bit because that they are the ones pushing this, and it is a worldwide conspiracy.
I agree.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. This is where this is it. This is the place, guys. This is where we get all that out. Okay. We're here to talk. All right, Ellen.
Yes, hi. Can you hear me?
Oh, yep, we can hear
Yep,
you.
okay. Yes, well, I have so many ideas. I'll keep it short if I can. This is so important because Bill may remember when I came in 2015 to the Northwest Suburbs Organizing for Action. My issue was, that I'm an adult child of a Republican family. What I could say that I'm an adult child of a stepfather that was part of the Heritage Foundation and the Federalist Society, and he's co-founded the Manhattan Institute with William Casey. He's head of the CIA. And so for the last 10 years, really 15 years, I've been, trying to fight this on my own, kind of reading Jane Mayer. And I've got 1,000 other books around here. And we need to that's why I've just got to get on the green ballot before and got pushed off. They said I was anti-Semitic because among my 10-page questionnaire, reasons for wanting to do this is to fight this. I labeled one aspect of it a Jewish mafia, and they said that makes me anti-Semitic. But the key thing is to know who is the octopus. I got a lot of research said in 1980 they stole the Promise software. Ed Meese, William Casey, Reagan, and I can see that it's all part of really an octopus of global control, financial terrorism, and I'm just grateful that we have this group. It's hard to organize, right? Especially with the deep state issues that I'm with a group called the Truth Action Project. I'd like to bring that coalition together with this coalition and the this International Peace Coalition. That, you know, that's what we talked about at the beginning. We bring together coalitions regarding our government is lying to us, and it really is authoritarian, totalitarian takeover. And anyhow, so more will be revealed, and let's keep the fight going. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you. All right, Constance, you are up next.
So I thank everyone for reminding me of just, what Trump has done to in the education field. As a former teacher, I'm of course very concerned about it. What I was looking for was kind of at the rate he was going, kind of a total dismantling of the public school system, but it looks like he's doing it by inches more than, in one fell swoop. But, and that's bad enough. But I just want to, we're reading this and we're reading about something that began in January, and now we're in late November. And we see some good signs, I think, that as terrifying as this document is, it's not invincible, because we've seen that 2 weeks ago on Tuesday, the 4th, I believe, where Republicans got their clock cleaned, and the people said, it's all over except the voting, right? And the people said, no, we don't want what you're telling us we should want, or what you're selling. We don't want that. So that, plus I think Trump's inherent lack of ability to concentrate fully on any one thing at a time are some of our advantages right now. So we shouldn't be despondent, I guess, is what I'm thinking at any rate. This is a terrible document, and it's terrifying. And we all need to know about every nook and cranny of it, but we also need to know what we've got going for us.
That's right.
That's basically what I wanted to get across.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Dragon. Look what the Joe dragged in. Okay.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Good to see you all.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, I've been working, so I haven't had a chance to participate with you guys. I took a full-time job in July, and it's keeping me busy. But it's ending soon, so I'm going to be bothering you again shortly. In any case, I am deeply concerned not just about the impact of Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation, etc. But I am deeply concerned that there are a significant number of people in our country who believe this crap, who actually vote for people who proclaim that they want to implement this. I don't know where we went off the rails. I can't understand what happened to our heart and our soul as a country, that we accept having masked agents kidnap people off the streets in the name of white Christian nationalism.
I know.
What happened to us? And I don't know, I don't have a solution to this, but I want you to know that my wife and I are fearful for what's happening to our country, what's going to happen to our grandchildren who have to grow up in this society. I don't know what the answer is. I am so despondent about it. And I'm doing my best to help elect Democrats and other progressives who have a sense of what this country is really about and should be about. It's just frightening to me, though, the number of people who voted for this stuff. So I'm sorry to be a downer, but that's where I am right now.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your comment, Joe. Thank you. Patty, you are up next. Oh, hold on. I gotta unmute you. Did you get it? Hold on. You should see something come across. Hold on. I'll do it. Let's try again. Rebecca?
Cecilia, I just unmuted her. Or Patty,
No.
all you need to do is unmute yourself.
Yeah.
We're trying to talk her through it. So,
Oh,
Patty, do you see on your screen anything that says the host is asking you to unmute? Or if you are on your it's
Well, are you on a
frustrating.
phone or are you on your phone?
Computer? Computer. Okay. So you're going to find your Zoom window and your audio button should be in the lower left side. It looks like a little microphone. Hit that. Nope.
With your mouse. You gotta click it with your mouse.
Okay, I think she said go to the next person. Sorry,
Christine.
Patty, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out, hun. Christine, you're up next, hun. I apologize.
Whoops, I had the unmute button.
There you go. Oh, and Patty, you just unmuted yourself, love. All right, look at that.
Patty can go.
Okay, go on, Patty.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say that a whole lot is already being done, and there are a lot of groups that are doing things, and it's grassroots folks, everybody doing a little bit to pull together locally the people that they know, so that in the bottom line at the end we will all get all of these little groups together. And there are so many places online that we can go to get guidance. Indivisible.org, moveon.org, mobilize.us, 5051, No Kings. And finally, what we do know is that what has happened and why there are so many people voting for MAGA is that the Republicans and MAGA used their big bucks to do grassroots organizing. That Turning Point is a big thing that they organized, and they funded it all and put it together for the purpose of cultivating and bringing the youth along. They're in high schools and on college campuses, and that's how they have spent their money. And I don't know what the Democrats spent their money on, but they're now beginning to make tiny little inroads into doing or spending some of the money that they have as Democrats on grassroots levels. So each one of us individually has the power to create a community in our neighborhood, to be active, to spread the word, to educate on what's going on. And I think that you all will see that the election results of last Tuesday shows that each of these little tiny actions all over the United States are making a difference. The No Kings rallies told people that they were not alone anymore, that we're out here and we're fighting and we can do it. And we got to, I know that makes you pissed off to read this thing we're reading tonight, because they took us over and we got to take it back. Excuse me. That's all.
No, that's right. No, Miss Patty, where are you from?
I'm from Long Creek, South Carolina.
Well, thank you so very much for being on the soup tonight. I appreciate you so much. All right, Christine, it's your turn.
I'm Chris Wolk from Green Lake, Wisconsin. I try to be hopeful, even though I was just looking up, I remember Taylor Caldwell, she did Captains and the Kings, and she also wrote for the John Birch Society. And but I think her books told a story of where the men want to be, where you've got the centralized power in with all the wealth, and then the rest of us are just like pawns on a chessboard. But what gives me hopes, well, one, I need to have hope, but my former mother-in-law was, during World War II, she was on the rooftops. She was from Scotland. And what she felt about the United States was that there are so many of us and we have so many different opinions that there was no way that anyone was going to be able to wrangle a large enough group to take it over. And the only way right now we've got Trump out there with his ICE mob, but I think they're going too far. One, I think they're going to speed up because I'm looking right now at Trump's poor health and mental health. I mean, they've got to use him while they have him, and he's really falling apart.
Mm.
And I had another point. His health that way, and we're getting Trump greed in Congress. I put something in this morning. I'm still upset at Ron Johnson because he's one of these guys who wants $500,000 because they checked his phone records.
Oh, right.
So that's going in either an email or an op-ed. I'm done ranting. I'm
Thanks so much, Chris. I appreciate you. All right, Julie, how are you doing? Is it snowing?
Oh, I can unmute myself. Hello,
Yes, you
everyone
can
from
in the
St.
soup.
Paul. St.
You
Paul,
have the
Minnesota.
power here.
I just got back from Babyland, Michigan today. I drove, and I did mention in the chat, I had on my way there back in pieces, I was listening to Prequel, and that Rachel Maddow, one of her books, and it's connected very much with I'm with the Ultra series. There's 3 parts to Ultra, and basically it's the history of how fascism has reared its ugly head in our country in the past. And I think the whole purpose of bringing that to the surface is to educate us in how to combat it now from the lessons of history. And the one word that comes to mind is courage. And I think we see it every day in every way in all of us, being here, acting, going out there to ice events and everything. I mean, we just have to keep it up. We have to just push, push, push. And I don't know, we might not have this big, long 900-page document to follow, nothing like that. But we, the people, we have the power, we have courage, and that courage can give us hope to forge ahead. And so I guess that's all I really wanted to say. I think this is great to read and dissect, and then at the same time discuss and come up with, okay, what can we do about it?
Right.
Let's act. And that is, I think, what we are all doing in all of, our individual ways. We just have to persevere. We can't let down. We can't give up. So that's it. I'm really glad that, very, very thankful for this discussion and bringing this all to the forefront. Thanks,
Well,
everyone.
I'm very thankful for you. Thankful that
Yes.
you're here.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks, Julie. I'm just gonna stick my nose in here as the official timekeeper. It's unfortunately my job, but it's 6:30. We don't have a hard stop tonight, but we probably should wrap things up. So, Kara, you're next, and then we'll have Judith and wrap up with Dr. Chris.
Kara.
Hi, this is Kara from Central Illinois. It is 6:30. Boy, that went quick, you guys.
Yeah.
What a great reading. I'm so glad I could just listen and not have to read it and rest my eyes and just concentrate. And the reason I raised my hand was somebody had talked about what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And then the last few people talked about all the things we could do. So that was really my point. I would really, really encourage anybody who is not signed up with Indivisible to go to their site. Right at the top, you put your email in there and you will start getting their newsletters. They have weekly to-dos. They have, I just think Indivisible is the organization that is on target with the tactics and the strategy to win. And keep in mind, we're organizing, things are coming. There's going to be boycotts. There's going to be things that happen. And if you're connected in with Indivisible, you'll be there to take action. There's so many things happen. I have to say no all day long with all the stuff coming at me that I could be doing. There's so much to do. Get involved.
Just turning stuff away left and right.
Yeah, with either Indivisible or your local Dems office or any other organization that's doing good work. And we will win this if we do the work. So stay active, stay safe, and we can win this.
That is the truth. And that is a great message. Thank you very much. All right, Judith, you're back up.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay. I just wanted to inject a little bit in here about religion. It's been mentioned in a couple of the comments regarding like drinking the Kool-Aid and things like that. That was a religious movement. And many people think of MAGA, the MAGA movement is also a religious movement. One organization that you can tap into if you want to is Americans United for the Separation of Church and State. Their logo is au.org, and they have so much in there. They're always on the side of the ones protesting against school prayer and school vouchers and any injection of religion into political life. I think the leaders of the group are Jewish, but they're for all religious minorities to be sure that religion stays out of governance. And they're very, very powerful, I think, against Christian nationalists, especially white Christian nationalists. So insofar as there is a religious fervor to the MAGA movement, they're a good source to refer to. And then I wanted to thank you, Cecilia, for hosting this, even if we didn't get to action items per se. This was really needed. I mean, I was so depressed this week after the Democrats caved in the Senate that this really is making me feel much better. So thank you very much. And to everyone else participating too. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy that you're all here. This wouldn't be happening without all of y'all. Dr. Chris, we are going to end with you today.
Yeah, I just wanted to echo some of the comments that some of the folks made in regards to action. So if I want, and I also want to just kind of offer some hope. So I am one of the ones that read most of Project 2025 when it came out and was also familiar with, I don't know if you remember, but the Trump administration denied any connection to Project 2025. But we, for those who had read Project 2025, you could see the alignment with Agenda 40, I think it was Agenda 47, which is what his official platform was. But here's what we know, okay? And so this, hopefully this will bring you some hope, is when people started reading Project 2025 and they disavowed that they were connected to it, overwhelmingly Americans, to include Republicans, were not happy with Project 2025 because, as someone mentioned earlier on the call, it is actually anti-democratic, meaning it is. And I've talked to people who are staunch conservatives, and I've said, I know you like this, this, and this, but would you be willing to give up our democracy? Are these things so important to you that you would be willing to give up our democracy? The answer for many of them was no. So understand, democracy runs deep in our American soul, okay? And I believe that is going to carry us over the hump. The other thing is, polling data came out today. Trump's poll numbers have been like in the 80s and 90s with the GOP. I mean, they're much lower than that. But we saw a big drop this last poll with the GOP. So find hope in that too, because I think people are awake now. So, and back to the action steps are what we've been doing. It's showing up at protests, showing up at ICE facilities like Rebecca does, writing your Substack articles, talking to your neighbors, and all your activism, and most importantly, getting people out to vote, having those conversations that convince people that their voice really, we need them at the polls. So anyway, I'll leave you on that. Trump has said he has a mandate, but that's all just kind of self-talk right now because he has no mandate. We're showing it. I mean, you saw the mandate from the people the last time we had the No Kings protest. So find hope in that. And I'll leave you with that.
I do find hope in that. And you're absolutely right. All of that, absolutely correct. Thank you, Dr. Chris. Thank you very much. And y'all, we are reading heady stuff, which is why we usually balance it out with some of the other. I'll do better on my timing. We'll do better on our timing. Now that we know we have a lot to talk about, and we will. Wow. Okay. So we'll be in this book for probably a while. And we will do this a little differently. Okay. Whew. I thought we were just gonna zoom right through this. Nope, that's not how that's gonna go.
Maybe we could read like the Cliff's Notes version of this. It could, I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We will figure this out, y'all. I'm going with it. We're rolling with my homie.
I saw Bill do it.
I know. I think that's how I'm going. All right. I am so thankful, so thankful for each and every one of you. I'm thankful for all of my crew that help me do this each week, because let me tell you, the soup does not get made without the sous chefs, those that help make the soup. But y'all, thank you so much. This was tasty. We had such a wonderful conversation, and I appreciate every single one of you who listened, every single one of you who read, and every single one of you who spoke. Whether or not you did any of those things, thank you. And I am grateful. And Bill, do you have anything to add? Or would you like to speak? You need to unmute before you speak, though. There we go.
This was exciting. I'm not a person that can sit down and really read things, any kind of long things. And listening to people read these documents means an awful lot. I mean, I think Joseph also said it, a few other people I commented on. This has turned into a wonderful event, one that I think we can ask yourselves this. We can ask people from all across the country to join this because they really don't have to read it. They just have to listen and understand what the reading is about. It's amazing. Cecilia, great job. To all of you who read today, thank you for pitching in. I mean, it's just one more step, one more person taking one more action. And, you know, one here, one there, one everywhere, pretty soon, and millions of actions. And that's why the polls are moving in our favor. That's why I think we're seeing new people join our coffees, joining our sorting soups, all the different areas. So just really thankful. It'll be interesting tomorrow to see how the Truth Brigade Illinois, who have now revamped themselves into more of a social storm, to see how that works out and how many people join to spread the word there. And again, a whole bunch of different lights of facts going out there. So I just couldn't be prouder. Thank you so much for doing this, and I will shut up and let you close. I catch my mouth just going on.
No, it's all right. I was just reminded, the one thing that stuck with me after the election, after the November election, was that everything that you did mattered in the election. Everything that you didn't do in the election mattered, right? So those two things. But that's the exact same thing here, y'all. That's what we're seeing. Everything that we're doing is coming true, or like everything is helping. So thank y'all so much again, and we will see you at 5 p.m. next Thursday for another sorting soup, and tomorrow morning for that's Central, by the way, and tomorrow morning for a coffee and conversation at 9 a.m. We'll see ya. Have a good night. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks, Cecilia.
You're welcome, Joe. It was so good to see you.
Great to see you too.
I'm looking forward to, yeah,
My return.
further conversation.
I'm gonna bother Bill soon enough.
I'm sure.
All right.
I'm sure.
Cecilia, you are host, so you'll be the one that will have to close
Can
the
I
meeting
ask
out.
a question? Do you send out the chats on this? Because I couldn't figure out how to save it. Is that something that Bill